Hey guys, welcome to the HillBilly Swag Podcast album reviews. Today I'm going to be doing Alt J's new album, Relaxer. This is their third full-length album, and it just came out today, so I had to check it out. As far as Alt J goes, they're a hit and miss with me. The last two albums I've sort of gotten into. Some of the songs are really catchy, and I put them on a few of my playlists, and I like to listen to them every once in a while. But Alt J sometimes can be a little too soft for me, a little too tame, which is nothing wrong with that kind of sound. It's just for me, I'm not a big fan of it being a little too tame, and so a lot of the songs I tend to skip over on the older albums. With this newer album, though, it seems a little more aggressive. There's definitely more to the music. So jumping right into the album here, the first song, 3WW. I don't know if there's some other way you have to say that or what that means, but it's kind of just a chilled start to the album in a typical Alt J fashion. If you've listened to the last two albums, I noticed that there's like a theme to it. All the album artwork, some of the preview videos that I've seen have this like old school graphics, the old 3D. I feel like I'm running MS-DOS kind of look. But I guess it's kind of the theme that they're going for with this new album. The first song that I actually heard before this album came out was In Cold Blood, which is definitely a very catchy song. I saw them performed on Jimmy Kimmel Live. It sounded really good live. So the fact that a band can sound good live and also have an amazing album, to me, is always a plus. I know a lot of times the studio albums tend to be, they add a lot to it, a lot of layers and everything. And it sounds good on a studio album, but then when they go to perform it live, there tends to be a lack of that sound, and or they tend just not to be good live. The singer can't sing well. But this band definitely not only can perform live very well, but also put out a good album on top of that. Overall, I'd say this album was pretty good, considering it's an 8-track album, and some of the songs are kind of long, around 5-6 minutes, but it still, to me, was pretty catchy and a lot more aggressive. And I actually kind of like that style a little more than their last few albums, where it was just hit or miss with the songs on the older albums, especially This Is All Yours, which I thought was better than An Awesome Wave. But An Awesome Wave is obviously their breakout album, but this new one, to me, definitely pushed their sound a little more, and it added some complexity to what they could actually do. The song that stood out to me the most in this album was House of the Rising Sun, which is a cover of the 1964 version of House of the Rising Sun by The Animals. And I thought that they did a very good job of turning this song, which was already a kind of a dark song to begin with, into a darker, more whimsical, atmospheric kind of song, with just like with an atmospheric sound from the synth and with the guitar being a little more in the background compared to the original song where it was just up front. And he kind of tamed down his voice, and he kind of made this really a beautiful blend of this song. And that's why I think it's just an amazing cover, and it just stands out to me. And when I first started listening to the song, I didn't catch on right away, and then I started hearing the melody, and I'm like, oh, this is I've heard this song before, realizing that it's a cover. And it seems to have influenced at least one or two other songs, like Hit Me Like a Snare, which is a very odd song to me, but it's odd in that way where it's catchy and I enjoyed it. But Hit Me Like a Snare sounds like an old, like 1960s psychedelic British invasion kind of sound. And it seems that the British invasion style from the 60s kind of influenced this album just a little bit, especially in this song Hit Me Like a Snare. But when I was listening to it through my headphones, the way that they mixed it reminded me of like the Kinks or the older psychedelic Beatles style, where you got like the drums in the left ear and then the rest of it's kind of in the right ear. And then after that, the album sort of just kind of tapers off and becomes a little more tame towards the end. I don't mind this, but to me, I just kind of drift off a little bit. But it's one of these albums that I believe you have to kind of start from the beginning and just listen to it all the way through. And I noticed that that's kind of Alt J's style, is the themes in their albums, is you got to kind of start it from the beginning and just listen to it all the way through, which is a great concept, because I always love albums where it's an actual album. You have to listen to the whole thing. So I give them credit on that, because not a lot of people do that anymore. It seems that people just kind of make hit songs, one or two that show up, you put on a playlist and listen to it, and that's it. But this one is definitely a start to finish album. And like I said before, the older albums, have that theme, but to me, they were a little too tame, so I really didn't get into them that much. I like a little more punch in my music, and I think Relaxer started off that way, and it definitely towards the end seemed to tame down and got a little soft and a little more atmospheric. The song that is the least favorite on my album, I would have to say, is probably Last Year. Again, this is not a bad song. I think it's actually a very well written song. It's a very soft, acoustic, melodic song, but to me, it was way too soft, and I really don't enjoy music that's too much like that. But that was probably my least favorite. That's one I'm willing to skip over if I have to listen to this album over and over again. Now, the song I really enjoyed from this was actually House of the Rising Sun, probably because it's a cover, and they changed it so much that it was hard to tell right away that it was a cover unless you actually listen to the lyrics and notice that the melody was similar to the original. But I think that's what made it stand out to me, and I thought that was amazing that they were able to take a song like that and kind of make it their own and make it into the alt J style, and I like when bands do that. It was enough to be a standalone song to where I could put it on a playlist and really enjoy it, and I thought it was just an amazing cover of the original. Would I suggest this album to anybody? Yes, I would. I would absolutely suggest this album. I would probably just suggest this band in general. I believe it's a band that is catchy enough to where people can enjoy it, but there's enough diversity in the sound that it makes it unique and original. Especially with the way he sings, his melodies, alt J in general has a unique sound, and you listen to a song and you go, oh, that's alt J. I could tell right off the bat that's alt J, and I think that's pretty unique, especially this day and age with all the music that's out there, especially being in that scene. Well, let me know if you guys agree or disagree. Just go ahead and comment below on whatever streaming service you're listening/watching this on now. You can also hit me up on Twitter at HillBilly Swags with an S at the end. I couldn't get HillBilly Swag. Looks like somebody already snagged it, so I had to add the S at the end. So it's at HillBilly Swags, and just let me know what you think of the album Relaxer by Alt J. If you want to suggest any new music, suggest anything that I should be listening to or should be reviewing, I'll be glad to check it out and give my take on it. I've started posting my podcasts on YouTube, so if you just look up HillBilly Swag Podcast on YouTube, and you should be able to find me, subscribe, so you get all the updates every time I upload one. You'll get it right then and there. Don't forget that I also host these on SoundCloud. Whether you're listening to it on SoundCloud now, you can also go to SoundCloud, look for HillBilly Swag, follow me there, and you get the latest updates straight to whatever device you're listening to on right now.